There had been rumors swirling over the past couple of days, and Friday, September 27th, we got the confirmation. Spider-Man will remain in the MCU for 2 more appearances. In this, well, newsflash, I guess, I will break down the details as we know them. Plus, I will give you my take on why we are getting just 2 appearances. I will also be addressing the rumors that Marvel intends to cross Spider-Man over with Captain Marvel. The news broke on Friday after coming together on Thursday evening, and the gist of it is that Spider-Man will make 2 more appearances in the MCU. First and foremost, he will appear in Spider-Man 3, which I dub Not Homeless After All. This movie will be released on July 16th of 2021, and naturally follow up on the cliffhanger ending from Spider-Man Far From Home. On top of that, Spider-Man will appear in 1 more Disney Marvel movie, which has yet to be announced. In terms of funding, Deadline Hollywood has revealed that Disney will put up 25% of the movie's budget in return for 25% of the first dollar gross. Those are the facts as we know them. With that out of the way, let's bring about the speculation, because this to me raises many questions. I have some questions, and they are interconnected. First and foremost, why did this happen now? Secondly, why make a deal for just 2 MCU appearances? You'll recall the original deal was for 5, so why just 2 in the renewal? And finally, what else did Sony get out of this? As we saw, this deal gives Marvel a 25% stake in the 3rd Spider-Man movie, according to Deadline Hollywood. But as they reported previously, and we've covered in our previous video on the matter, the last time Disney offered Sony 25%, Sony didn't just not accept. They left Marvel hanging for 6 months. But now, after going full steam ahead with their own Spider-Verse, they're even making a Madame Web movie for it, something which was revealed only yesterday. They suddenly are accepting the same terms they weren't having 7 months ago? No, there is more going on here. Sony must have gotten something more out of this that we have not yet been told. What they got, and why this deal is just for 2 movies, I don't know. But I will make a guess anyway. I think part of why this new deal came together is the way Spider-Man Far From Home ended on a cliffhanger. Audiences will want to see that resolved, and Sony can't do it. They can't use Spider-Man's costumes used in the MCU, they can't use the majority of the cast, and they can't even reference any MCU characters by name. They would have to, at the very least, soft reboot, and doing so may undercut their intention to deceive the audience into thinking Sony's Marvel Universe and the legitimate MCU are one and the same. I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of Marvel's intention of ending the movie on that cliffhanger, because they knew Sony couldn't resolve it. Sony, of course, could proceed with a soft reboot, which indeed is what they were doing up until now. But I think they'd rather begin their Spider-Man adventure from a clean slate, which I have no doubt the 3rd Spider-Man movie will end on. That is why I think this deal is just for 2 MCU appearances. 1 Spider-Man movie for Sony to resolve the cliffhanger and give Sony a clean slate in case the deal isn't extended further, and 1 quid pro quo appearance in the MCU, because Marvel would have it no other way. But a deal like that could have been reached already in the beginning of this year, which was when Marvel first offered that 25% co-funding. Sony didn't want it then, but this went through now. That leads me to think that Disney must have conceded something more now, that they weren't willing to concede then. And yes, Disney are the ones that have to do the concessions, because the deal is for Sony to take or leave. Merchandise doesn't come into it. Disney keeps all of that. Deadline confirmed as much. So Disney must have conceded something else. What we do know that Sony wanted was for Spider-Man to appear in Venom. Marvel wouldn't budge on that up until now, as that would have been tantamount to recognizing Sony's Marvel movies as legitimate parts of the MCU. I can only imagine that Marvel must have softened on that stance, so I do believe this deal will see Spider-Man appear in Venom 2, and whatever else the deal may call for, possibly in return for some creative oversight by Kevin Feige, credited or uncredited. Again, I stress I don't know this. This is pure speculation on my part. But this is what Sony always wanted, entering a temporary extension that allows them to introduce Spider-Man into their universe already now, and which resolves that cliffhanger and leaves them in a better position to take him over wholesale later on, would be a very good deal for Sony. Likewise, it gives Marvel the opportunity to resolve the cliffhanger that would otherwise have bugged the fans. They get 25% of what will probably be another billion-dollar movie. Plus, they have the hope that Sony will be bought so Spider-Man reverts, or the deal otherwise gets extended in the meantime, and on top of that, they get to use Spider-Man in another movie of their own. But which one? That has me a little bit worried. There have been rumors as of late that Marvel may be planning on pairing Spider-Man with Captain Marvel, in an attempt that some of Tom Holland's charm and likability would rub off on Brie Larson's, block of woodiness. In the process, he would also play second fiddle to her, so she could show her awesome superiority or something like that. These rumors have been reported on by our friends like Doomcock, Nerdrotic, and more, and for all I know, they could be on the money. But I have heard nothing to that end myself. No source of mine has told me anything of the sort, so I am in no position to either add to or subtract from the veracity of those rumors. I only go by what they've reported. And I gotta say, I hope to Odin their sources are wrong on this, and if they are indeed on the money, which they very well could be, then I hope to hell that Marvel changes course, because that would suck. Pair him with anyone else. Brie Larson wants to join the Star Wars universe. Fine, go, be Ray .20, shush. Marvel, make that one Spider-Man appearance you know you have worthwhile. Don't spend what may be the final appearance of one of your best characters to prop up one of your worst. That's my opinion anyway. Tell me yours on all of this in the comments, and we'll keep you updated as more information becomes available.